Okay, I'd like to call the meeting of the Joint Special School Building Committee to order. It's Thursday, June 23rd, 2022. It's 7:19 p.m. And if the clerk would please call the roll.
Alderman Dowd.
Present.
Alderman Wilshire. Here. Alderwoman Clee. Not here. Alderwoman Timmons.
Here.
Alderman Sullivan. Miss Raymond.
Here.
Miss Lampier. Not here. Miss Bishop is here. Miss Giglio.
Here.
And Mr. Claffey is not here.
And we have a quorum. I know some of the people that are missing have reasons they can't be here. Alderman Clee's at a county budget. Alderman Sullivan's son is being inducted into the West Point Academy tonight, so he's there.
Oh, very nice.
Mr. Claffey has a job, and Ms. Lampier said that she couldn't be here for because of another commitment. Okay. So if the clerk would please read the prayer, and Ms. Giglio lead us in the pledge.
Almighty God, we have the high honor and the serious duty to manage the educational affairs of our beloved city. Fill us, O God, with a spirit of unity and understanding, which enables us to face our multiple problems with a serene mind, with justice and charity for all, so that any and all decisions made by us will always be for the betterment and greater happiness of all our fellow citizens. So help us God. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. So, if there are no objections, approve the minutes of May 26, 2022 and place them on file and waive the reading. Remarks by chairman. Thank you everyone for being here. I know as we get into the summer, it's always difficult getting quorums because we like to be doing other things, but the contractors do like to get paid. And we do have a number of things going on. We have a vast amount of projects which you'll be seeing the status update on shortly. Mr. Smith and I were at the new school today and walked around the entire site. It's amazing. So, and more of that when we get the updates. Administration, Mr. Smith, do you have anything?
No, just if you need to get your steps in, going to the new site is a good place to do it. 'Cause it's a very, very big site.
Yeah, it's quite the steps. So we're going to commence with the architect's report from Harriman. Jamie?
Good evening, everyone. I did pass around a memorandum with some updates on each of the schools. I'd like to go through that tonight. Over at the new middle school, as Alderman Dowd suggested, there was a site visit today. I was not able to make it this morning, but Neri, one of my counterparts, was there and reported that things are going quite well. So that was good to hear, and she shared a few pictures with me. So we're continuing to review submittals and questions from Harvey, kind of an ongoing process. I think that'll happen all the way, at least questions will probably happen all the way to the end, so we'll continue that. Since our last meeting, we did finally see the approval letter from NHDES and the Army Corps of Engineers. That relates to the dredge and fill permit that we were waiting. That allows work to occur around and within wetlands area of the site. Before that, Harvey was trying to stay away from that area. So with that, there was a determination from the Army Corps of Engineers that they are requesting and I kind of worded it, this is a copy of their verbiage right out of the letter, but it's federal compensatory mitigation, thank you, yeah, that's the one.
I only had a problem with the
Compensatory
price.
mitigation consists of a one-time payment of $56,847 and 33 cents. into the Aquatic Resource Mitigation ARM Fund with the Merrimack River Watershed account. So they'll use that for projects related to environmental stuff, like related to that fund. I believe that'll come up later in the meeting for approval, but I did want to mention it anyhow. Another element at the new middle school that's kind of risen to the topic of discussion is and I think this is something that was voted on during the approval packages. There was a budget to provide graphics on the kitchen overhead coiling doors. If you flip to the second page, that might jog some memories if you were here for that. We were talking about, on that first image at the top, there's those 3 coiling overhead shutters or doors that go into the kitchen. In this image, at the time, we were looking to do a glass type enclosure, and I think I mentioned at the time that because those have to be fire rated, you can't get them in glass. And so the intent that was discussed was that they'd be a solid panel, or coiling panel, and graphics would be applied to those. So I bring that forward to kind of set out a reminder. And actually at the bottom there's 2 images that I put on there. The last 2 small images, those are right off the website, the products from Cookson. So it's right off their website as examples that they've done for other projects, not necessarily schools, but so this could be anything. The point being that something needs to be designed and some ideas need to be come up with. So there'll have to be some discussion on how and who wants to, partake in that moving forward. A graphic designer or students or whatever it might be. Speaking with Mr. Smith, he thought maybe that the communications director might be able to help navigate that, and I'm not sure, Mr. Smith. I don't know if you wanted to speak about that at all, or if that's even an opportunity, or not sure. I'm just not sure how to go forward from this point. That's why I kind of bring it forward. So.
Probably about a year ago is when Jamie originally brought this, I think, to this committee, and we haven't really done anything with it since. And of course, the clock is now ticking. And so Stacy Hines, I think, she's communications director. She's got her fingers in a lot of different things. And she's currently involved in talking to the Elm Street people about memorabilia to bring out of the school that we actually want to save for posterity. A lot of former teachers are there, are being contacted about different things. So this seems like something good to task her with, potentially, to work with maybe the Elm Street art staff or something. But I guess we're throwing that out there. We're looking for you to agree.
So
or provide some direction.
Yeah, we'll just have to go through the superintendent in order to ask her to do anything for us. We have to make sure she has space on her plate.
Yep.
And it's within the scope of what she's able to do. But I love the idea of grabbing stuff from the old high school. I'll just check in with the superintendent. Is there a time frame for this for you guys? I mean, I know everything's kind of down to the wire now, but is this something that we only have a couple more dates with Dr. McKinney. Is this something I can ask Dr. Andrade about when he comes in? Or does it need to be started tomorrow?
I would say you have time on this, right? I mean, we're probably not going to install those panels until spring of 2024, Ken. I mean, we've got time on this. Yes.
Okay.
So I can wait.
Okay.
I don't think that'll, and sorry, Mr. Smith, to put you on the spot there. That wasn't my intent there. I just was, and the reason Mr. Smith had mentioned Stacy Hines to me before, and actually, Stacy Hines had called me a couple weeks ago to talk about the logo and things like that, and I had also brought this kind of to light as well, and she was mentioning like a graphic designer might be brought aboard for the logo or something like that. So just kind of topics that have kind of been discussed. So I want to make sure that I at least touched on it today. I don't think a decision has to be made today. It's just something that I wanted to bring forward again. I presume that these coiling doors are going to be fabricated with or without a graphic, and they apply the graphic after, but I think we can talk with Harvey about that maybe after the meeting, kind of bring that back at the next one. So,
Okay.
sorry.
That's okay. I think we're all trying to figure out what there are like multiple timelines going, and certain dominoes have to fall first, and then we can move on to the next one. But, everything has a due date.
Yeah, understood. Yeah, and I don't, and maybe, I can reach out to the vendor and see if this is something they can apply after it's installed. That may actually be how it's done. I'm not sure. We pick a color of the coil itself, and that gets installed and they come in after. So I will reach out to them and bring it forward again, but I just want to bring it to attention and bring it to light so we can at least continue that discussion without it being a surprise when it's overdue. So, thank you. And then design, we are working on the new middle school, a few design items, adjustments to some details for the previously approved firewall. So it's just some coordination items and speaking with the superintendent on site of the project contractor. There was a few things that need to be ironed out. So we're working on a few design adjustments there. And then there's some minor site adjustments that are ongoing, relocating where we were proposing the dumpster. There's a spot closer that's better to the service yard that we were looking at. And then the local fire marshal had finally given us, not finally, but I asked him again if he had a chance to review what he would like to see at the emergency egress or emergency access entrance. And because we provided bollards initially, and there was something that he had commented during planning board review that he would prefer something different, and we had given him some options. He was interested in a siren operated sensor for a gate, and so he is doing a little investigation to see if that has successful results in the district or in other areas local. And so that was the direction that he'd like to see going forward. So we're working on some adjustments for that. On Pennachuck, again, continuing the submittal review and questions from Harvey. The submittals has dwindled to nearly nil. There's still a few questions here and there that pop up as the contractor moves ahead with items on specifically the north area and the north addition and the library addition. And we're continuing to monitor progress at work on site, progress with work on site. A few design items over there. Another item for a dumpster pad is looking at relocating that one closer to the service yard where it was shown on the drawings was kind of across a drive aisle. And the school district had asked if we could look at putting it a little closer for ease of access. So working on that one. There was a request from the principal to make an adjustment. There's a couple of resource rooms that are you enter the hallway into a resource room and you go through that room to get to a second resource room. And they would like that partition in between to be removed. I know Harvey's going to be presenting a PCO on that tonight for the work associated with that request. And then the proposal, we're working on a proposal for preparation of drawings for dehumidification of the school, something we look to see if we get pricing on and then bring that back to the board at a later time so that the whole school could potentially be dehumidified. And then over at Fairgrounds, that one, continued coordination with ongoing work. It's very minimal at this point. I think Harvey's just getting back over there here in the next week or so to finish up a few of the elements that were recently approved by the board. 55 Franklin, construction coordination meetings have been happening. As we just had one this week, reviewing submittals, reviewing RFIs, again, similar to the other projects I mentioned. There was a recent meeting with the state fire marshal and the local AHJ elements. It was a coordination meeting on code review of the stair towers and discussion on what they'd like to see. Originally, we were showing some great stairs, and further review of the code does not allow grates on education facility. So we adjusted that to solid treads, and so some of that was in the discussion, and then definition of a stair versus a fire escape. So we're getting close on that one. The state would just like a letter from Harriman, and so we're prepping that letter to clarify our code interpretation. And then I did hear from the local plan reviewer that the interior demo permit from the city was going to be issued, if it hasn't already. You did receive it, okay. Okay, so that's all.
Any
questions?
Questions for the architect? Seeing none, before I forget it, and because it's time sensitive, I'll entertain a motion to pay the Aquatic Resource Mitigation ARM Fund with the Merrimack River Watershed account, the amount of $56,847.37 to satisfy the New Hampshire DES and Army Corps of Engineers.
I'll make it.
The motion has been made by Mrs. Raymond. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Sean, cut a check. Get rid of that one.
Oh, I did have a quick question on that. Did that fall within what we expected to have to pay?
We originally were looking at 75,000, so,
Okay. Fantastic.
which we didn't want to pay, but we
No, we didn't.
put it aside.
We don't want to, but you expect that there's some penalty.
It's less than we originally thought we were going to have to pay.
Great. I can come up with things to do for $20,000.
We can too. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the construction manager's report. Ken?
Thank you, Alderman Dowd. Good evening, everybody. Once again, Ken Lemarier, Project Manager, Harvey Construction. I'm going to do a quick construction update for Pennachuck and the new middle school, and then I have a couple items for the new middle school, Pennachuck, and Fairgrounds, and then Kathy Misko will run us through some 55 Franklin Street items. So everybody, we have some technical difficulties here, so if you just refer to the construction manager packet here. I'll start over at Pennachuck Middle School. So I think all of you are aware that the last day of school for students was yesterday, and the last day for teachers was today. So now the site is closed until the fall, when the students return. There will be access for the custodial staff. We'll be working with them throughout the summer to make sure they can properly do their jobs. And
If I could just quickly interject, I was at the site today. The whole front of the school is ripped up. They are moving fast.
Yeah.
They've never seen so many people working on stuff as now that they got the whole place closed up.
Yeah, so the power has been turned off and we're already ripping down ceilings in the corridors, so we've got a lot of work to do. So I'll give a quick overview of what's gonna be taking place this summer and what the expectations are, and then I'll run through some kind of more detail for each area. So just a highlight on this map here on the second page. So the North Classroom addition is scheduled to be complete in July 2022. We're basically at finishes right now with a few minor things at the exterior of the building. The Learning Commons, all the foundations are complete, and we'll be starting steel after the 4th of July, and that'll be that's on schedule to be completed December 2022. Now that the students and teachers are out of the building, we're now completing the renovation of the cafeteria, all the science classrooms, the gymnasium, all the corridors, and we'll actually be relocating where the current library is. We'll be relocating that temporarily to the north addition until the new Learning Commons is complete. So we'll be working with Sean and his staff to make sure that we can get them into the space ahead of time and on schedule. At the exterior, as Alderman Dowd just mentioned, we are beginning to complete all the exterior improvements. So we'll be working on all of the curbing, paving, striping, all the site furnishes. We started the traffic control work today, and that'll be complete in August. And then for the exterior of the building will be remaining mechanical units for the Learning Commons, and there was a new unit that we added that will serve the kitchen area. And we'll be also doing the roof replacement of the existing roof as well. So that's kind of an overview. I'll jump into some of the other parts of the building. So if we move to the next slide or a piece of paper, this is all the exterior construction progress. As I mentioned, all the sidewalk grading and subgrade prep is all in progress, so it's going to be kind of a full construction site for the summer. We have a lot of work to get done. Then, as I mentioned, the new school entrance that started this week. Will be, again, complete middle of August. It'll give us enough time to test the lights out, make sure everything's in working order for when school starts in September. All the asphalt, curbing, and granite curbing is going in, and that's in progress. So again, that'll all be completed at the end of the summer, as well as all the landscaping, plantings, mulching, and trees. So it's going to be, as I mentioned, a lot going on there. Also, we'll be doing that new access road, the maintenance road that was approved last month out by the athletic ball fields, and installing new fencing as well. Moving into the north addition, again, pretty much complete right now. We'll be looking to get temp C of O sometime in July. All the classrooms and common areas, all the acoustical ceiling grid has been installed. All the mechanical, electrical, plumbing finishes are installed. Prime and first coat of paint is complete. We usually wait to do the finish coat till after all of the cabinetry's in, so we can pick up any dings. So, but that should be completed in the next week or so. All the science furniture has been installed. It's just the other cabinetry is in progress right now. And all of the single-use bathrooms have been completed as well. So once we wrap up everything, we'll get the final clean in there, and we'll get Sean and his crew in there to clean and make sure it's ready for teachers at the end of August. Moving over to some of the interior renovation progress. So these were photos taken from about 2.5 weeks ago. So more spaces have been opened up to us as of today. So the photos you kind of looking at right here, that's the existing cafeteria. So we did a lot of demolition in there. You can see all the temporary shoring that's in place, a lot of masonry infills as well. The lower right photo, that's a photo of the demolition and the slab cutting that's required for the new plumbing and some of the science rooms. So those will be a full renovation in there, full facelift, all new finishes as well. And then you see the gym. A lot of the overhead electrical rough-in has been completed. You can see some of the new acoustical panels have already been installed, and we're going to be looking to paint in there shortly. And then we'll be starting the gym equipment in July. That takes about 3 or 4 weeks, and then we have a full month of floor restoration and painting to take place in August. Moving over to the Learning Commons addition. So I mentioned earlier that all the foundations and the backfill of those foundations have been completed. All of the underground plumbing has been complete, and we'll be looking to place the concrete slab next week, hopefully before the 4th of July if the weather cooperates. And we'll be starting steel mid-July. So we're, as I mentioned, well ahead of schedule with this building. Our superintendents and site staff doing an amazing job out there. So again, turning over the building in December of 2022. Hopefully sooner we can give Mr. Smith's staff a little more than a week to move the furniture in. So. Okay, moving over to the new middle school.
Oh, can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
Do you expect the library to be functional by school, like with books and?
The temporary library?
Yeah, so we're still having, the temporary library is already set up or will be set up?
It will be set up.
Okay.
Right.
Yes, thank you, that was my question.
Yeah, so if you go back to that first sheet with the map there,
Right, in the yellow, right?
focused on those areas we're finishing those first so we can move all the books and computers there,
Okay,
get that set up first.
okay. I just want to make sure that kids are able to, get their work done.
Certainly, we've worked closely with Principal Falzarano and Vice Principal Hardymon to make sure that we're not going to be affecting anything. So it's a little bit of a tight space, but those rooms are rather large. So I think it'll be a functional space until we turn over the Learning Commons.
That's a lot of work. Who has to carry all the books? I'm looking at Sean. Is it your guys, Mr. Smith?
Yes, it is.
Oh, boy, that sounds like fun. Okay, thanks.
By the way, I ran into Julie today. She's one of the custodians at Pennachuck and said she had to move her coffee pot because you're turning off all the electricity in her office.
We warned her. Okay, any other questions on Pennachuck? Okay.
No, thank you.
Of course. Moving over to the new middle school, so Jamie mentioned earlier, we did receive the DES and the Army Corps wetland permitting, so that was approved. That allowed us to complete all the tree clearing and grubbing, so that's currently in process. We have about 18 acres cleared at the moment right now, hoping to have new aerial photos for you guys so you can kind of take it all in. It's hard to see from the ground level just how much has been done in the last month. So all the site development and utilities and drainage, that'll pretty much be taking place all through the summer. And we'll be looking to have pavement down by the fall. The emergency access road and new access road have been started. The emergency access road coming off of Cherrywood Court is basically complete. We just need to wait until things move along a little further before we can pave. And we'll be starting, they've cleared and they'll be starting, basically working on the new road from Buck Meadow, I believe it's D'Antonio Drive. That will take about 2 months. Just a reminder here, so the building sequence that we're doing is CBDA. So right now, Area C, you'll see some photos here. The foundations and the concrete slab on grade have been placed, and we'll be erecting steel at the end of July. Moving in, kind of, you can see the sequence here. The slab for Area B, these are just kind of major milestones of the construction process right now. The slab will be placed mid-July, slab on grade for Area B, and then steel will be in early August. Moving into Area D, slab will be slab on grade end of July and steel September. And then we're going to be working on foundations through July and into August for Area A. We're also working on a lot of the parking areas and athletic field development. That's kind of up around near Area A, like north of, kind of off the page. So hopefully I'll have aerial photos for the next meeting, and you can see everything that's going on. Moving on to the next slide, a couple of photos here. So this big photo with the tree clearing, that's the new road coming off of Buck Meadow Road. That's D'Antonio Drive. So that's just after the trees were cleared there. So you can see a lot of work going in there. I included a photo here of, this is the Area C slab. You see kind of like the blue tarp down there. That's the vapor barrier that goes beneath the subgrade and the concrete. So you can see them pumping the concrete there up to a retaining wall. And then the photo down here on the bottom right is the slab in Area C. You can see it's got quite a footprint. If you can get to the site, we'll give you a tour anytime.
Yeah, you just want to, it's a hard hat area, and
Yep.
there's a lot of heavy equipment moving around, as we found out today, trying to avoid.
Check in with George.
Oh, yeah, check in with George.
Check in with George, and
Definitely.
we'll take you around.
If I may add, you're welcome to tour the site, but please show up with closed shoes.
Yes.
No sandals.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Closed-toed shoes.
Thank
We
you.
have hard hats.
We'll provide a hard hat.
Yeah.
You provide your shoes.
And it's a pretty good walk. It's about 25 acres, so.
I'll pass up on 25 acres.
There's a lot going on, a lot of detail. It's hard to summarize it in a few sentences, but it's going really well, and I think we've got a great team for this project.
So the one minor thing that Ken didn't mention is we do need to do some limited blasting. And like, we got the date today, it'll be July 5th. You could do it the 4th, nobody noticed. But, all the abutters have been notified. Ken, did you do the letters?
Yes, so Main Drilling and Blasting is the company that I think everyone is pretty familiar with them. They performed pre-blast surveys, and that's basically, they'll do a survey for free, no charge, come into your house, look at anything, document. So those have been performed for the abutters that opted in, and we also handed out, I handed out letters to all the abutters today, just to notify them of what the process is and what the standard procedure is for when we are going to blast and what we think the durations are going to be. So trying to keep everybody updated and have an open book.
Mrs. Raymond?
So what kind of things should the people in that general area in the community be prepared to hear, feel, see on the 5th?
So they do a
Well, I got that, but like, you know,
It won't-
everyone on July 5th is going to post on Facebook, what was that big noise? And I, you know.
Presumably, it won't be enough to disturb anything in their homes, according to what we've heard from the blasting company.
Okay.
And they will be siren signals. I forget what they are. It's 3 siren signals, a couple minutes before, another couple before, with a minute left or something like that. And then
Yeah, so
then
they,
it all clear.
and it's really only for homes within 250 feet of the blast radius. So if you go back to that, to this map of the site, the only areas that we really need to blast is probably the northeast corner of Area A, and then near the athletic fields. So
Oh, okay.
it's pretty far away and tucked well into the site.
And at the moment, since we haven't taken the hills down, that's an added buffer. But they were pulling stumps today.
To this point, we've been lucky where we've been able to hammer out all of the ledge, but it's gotten to the point where it's not productive and we need to move forward. So we've been lucky thus far.
Along those lines, the Conservation Commission asked us if we could dump some boulders down on Buck Meadow Road so they can put them along the edge of the wetlands. So I'm just waiting for them to pick a site where we dump them. We can't have our contractors place them because that's not part of the bond. So DPW, I talked to Lisa Photo today, they are going to place them. They were a little concerned originally about the size of the boulders. I said, no, it's not going to be the size of a car. It's going to be reasonable sized boulders, and they have to tell them where they're going to go. But we normally have to truck them off the site anyway, so we're not trucking them as far. And the other thing I was asked Ken was if it's costing us to truck off the rocks, boulders, further than out of town or something, the Department of Public Works would like them dumped at the landfill. They have a use for them. What the heck it is. But, so, I mean, if that's an option, it might be less expensive unless the contractor's using them for something.
We can discuss with Severino as far as where you would like them dumped.
Okay. Any other questions for the construction manager? Yes. Ms.
Thank
Timmons.
you, Chairman. I did go over to look at the development, and I was surprised because it was gone for a whole month, and I came back like, what happened? I mean, it was surprising. And I like the fact that you put that billboard up there to show the public what the school would look like after the completion. It was pretty neat, but I was very, very surprised. I was like, wow, they really.
That's just a temporary location of our trailer.
Mm-hmm.
We were kind of forced to go there when we were waiting for the permitting to go through with the state. So we're going to be relocating our trailer to the Buck Meadow side so we can stop running trucks through the neighborhood. So it should be a lot quieter for those folks back there. They've been very agreeable.
And traffic,
Right,
because I wasn't the only one
right.
driving by, so.
Well, some of the neighbors think it's great. They love Severino. But anyway, we also have had a meeting with the Conservation Commission, sat down and approved the planting and landscaping for the 25 acres. It's pretty detailed. I'm sure, Jamie's going to test the different types of grasses and the different types of things and trees, and so it'll really look nice when it's done. Any other questions on anything from the architect, from the construction manager for the architect.
Will that site plan for the plantings be something in a packet at some point? I'm just curious.
And Jamie?
Yeah, I can present something if you'd like to see that. I can present what we presented to the Conservation Commission. Actually, was pretty nice, so.
Yeah.
Because we've already done some plantings along Medallion. Was that the no-mow grass, or was that the architectural grass that we put in the
It's
pit?
just,
The
it's the
conservation
conservation mix.
mix.
Conservation.
It's
Yeah.
required to stabilize the site as part of the
Yeah.
stormwater plan.
So the things that have been planted are already growing pretty healthy, because we had some good rain there for a while. But Okay,
Thank you.
all right.
Okay.
Ken? You go through the book.
Yeah, let's go through the Bible here. Okay, so I have a number of items for, I'll do the new middle school first, and I'll follow the order that's on the cover page here. So the first item is a PCO, so it's a potential change order number 5, and this is for proposal request number 18 that was issued by Harriman, and this is for expansion compensation. So this change proposal is adding expansion compensation to hot water supply and return piping. So basically during the coordination process that we do with our subcontractors and with the help of Harriman's engineering team, we found that we had a lot of long runs of piping, and when that happens, we need to add expansion loops to help prevent expansion and contraction in those runs of pipe. So this was kind of something that was discovered as we were kind of putting the building together in the digital model. We had Harriman issue a proposal request, and this is the pricing to make sure that we have the proper expansion installed in the design. So as a zero-day schedule impact, not adding any time to the project. If approved, we direct the contractor to proceed, and the total value of this change is $15,555.63.
So I'll entertain a motion to approve PCO number 5 for the new middle school in the amount of $15,555.63.
So moved.
Okay, motion's been made. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Ken?
Thank you. The next item is a PCO potential change order number 6, and this is a Harriman proposal request number 17, and this is for heat and smoke vents in the roof. So this is a fire marshal requirement, and Jamie, correct me if I'm wrong, but we had original smoke hatches in the design, and he requested that these be added. I think it's a superior product, but they are fairly more expensive. Is that?
Yeah, I think we had specified, actually, both companies that were part of the contract provide heat and smoke vents. We provided the appropriate heat and smoke vents. During the local fire marshal's review, they were concerned about snow buildup on the smoke vents. These smoke vents are over the stage. And in the event of an emergency, they automatically open and release for smoke to come out. Again, the vents were already part of the contract, and Nystrom was the company that Harvey had selected to go ahead with. But per that review, with the concerns of the snow building up on top of them, it was actually a little bit of an unusual request, but understandable, I think is the way I'd word it. So I inquired with all the companies that I could. I mean, there's more than just those two that provide these heat and smoke vents. And only one of them said, well, we've done some heat trace cables before with sensors in them. We could provide that. And so I inquired with all the other companies to see if they would do that, and they've not done that before. So Bilco is the company that does provide that. So this price reflects going with Bilco as the substituted product with the included heat trace cabling and sensors that would tell the heat trace to come on when there's snow building up on them, so.
Okay, so I will need a motion to approve PCO number 6 in the amount of $18,777.06.
So moved.
Alderman Timmons made the motion. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Ken?
Thank you. The last potential change order, number 7, for the new middle school. This is for a Harriman proposal request number 20, and this is for HVAC water treatment. So this was kind of another coordination and item that came up during the submittal review process. And perhaps Mr. Smith can help me out here, but I believe that there's a certain type and quality of HVAC water treatment that is a city standard, and this was kind of where this was generated, something that was in the specifications provided by Harriman, but in doing extra research and following the Nashville School Apartment standard, this was found that something that needed to be added into the design. So this, again, no schedule impact with this. It also, let's see, it includes all the coverage from Palmer-Sicard, which is our HVAC, and also includes power to the unit itself. It's for a total contract amount, added contract value of $22,163,074.
Okay, I'll need a motion to approve PCO number 7 for high-vac water treatment in the amount of $22,163.74.
So moved.
So moved by Alderman Timmons. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. The last item for the new middle school, this is a PCCO, so this is a prime contract change order. Again, these are comprised of items that this committee approved last month, so no new information here. This is just a formality for paperwork-wise. This PCCO is combination of PCO number 3 for additional dumpster tipping fees for the Nashville landfill and the alteration of terrain permitting site work revisions that were required by the state. So those two items together for this change order make a new total for this PCCO number 2 for $735,548.48.
Okay, we'll need a motion to approve PCCO number 2 for already approved PCOs in the amount of $735,548.48.
So moved.
Alderman Timmons made the motion. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Moving over to Pennachuck, I only have one new item for this, and this is something that Jamie had mentioned earlier. There's a resource room, C108 renovation. This was a request that Principal Fazzarano had made. They had asked Harriman to basically turn one room into 2 and create 2 separate classrooms. So this includes all the heating, ventilation, and air conditioning, all the electrical work, all the demolition, new flooring, paint, all new ceilings, sprinkler revisions, and all the required drywall and framing. So if approved, this change order would cost $30,407.80.
Okay, I'll need a motion to approve PCO number 38 for the Pennachuck Middle School contract in the amount of $29,394.60. I'm sorry, $30,407.80.
So moved.
I was like, where's that?
Motion's been made. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Just added more work to my superintendent's plate there. He's not happy. Okay. Okay, so this item here is prime contract change order number 10, and this is comprised of 3 PCOs that this group approved last month. This is for the new fencing and grading at the athletic fields that I mentioned earlier, the regrading of the maintenance and access road and added parking areas along those athletic fields, and a emergency lighting and egress code request that was made by the local official. Add 0 days to the overall schedule. If approved, the total value of this PCCO number 10 is $180,518.70.
So I'll need a motion to approve PCCO number 10 for previously approved PCOs in the amount of $180,518.70.
I'll make
Mrs.
it.
Raymond made the motion. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, moving over to Fairgrounds. This is to memorialize the summer renovations that we're going to be starting in a few weeks. So this is just to change the overall contract value for the Fairgrounds project, and that includes all the summer renovations that I highlighted last month. This is for a total value of $229,295.12.
Okay, again, I'll need a motion to approve PCCO number 6 for Fairgrounds on previously approved PCOs in the amount of $229,295.12.
So moved.
Mr. Gilio, any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
My turn, right?
Yep, it's your turn.
Okay. All right, we're on to 55 Franklin Street. Last month, we approved a whole bunch of recommendations for contractors for work. We do have a few more in the packet tonight. We are starting demolition next week, so we'll, at the next meeting, have some pictures of progress there as appropriate. But we do have a few potential change orders to review.
Can you just briefly tell them what demolition we're doing so they don't think we're taking the building down?
No, so this, this summer, we're working on the exterior of the building and in the second floor only.
Okay.
That's all our scope. So we're going to abate the old flooring on the second floor and get that removed the first couple of weeks of the summer, and then start with some minor reframing of walls. There's a bathroom upgrade, and then new finishes throughout the second floor. Meanwhile, on the outside, we'll be doing the egress stair towers, a front ramp, and a few other site work associated things to support those activities, so.
Okay. So need a motion to approve PCO number 2 in the amount of $1,921.23.
You want me to talk about it first?
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I'll make the motion, but I have questions about it.
Yeah. Right. Okay, go ahead.
Great. These are a lot smaller in dollars, Ken. So we do own cutting a tree in our scope already to do some work there. And in review of the site and the other trees that are on site, in review with Sean's team and Gary, there are some other trees that they requested be removed. We looked at 1 or 3 in order to try to figure out the best pricing for both. But once the tree cutter mobilizes, it doesn't matter if they do 1 or they do 3, it's the same price. So the quote here is the $1,800, which is basically the trip to get out there to remove 3 additional trees beyond the scope that we already own.
Yeah, basically, we're removing trees because they don't exactly fit in what we're trying to do from a site standpoint. We may be planting 1 or 2 replacement trees, but, all right, so now I need a motion for PCO number 2.
I have a question.
Oh,
Wait.
question?
That's
Well,
a good
you gotta make
price.
the motion
I mean,
first.
I think that's a
Yep.
good choice. 1 tree is almost $3,000, and you got 3 trees being removed for $1,900. That's really cool. What tree service is that? I'm serious. Who's doing the?
It's through Pichette, not Pichette, it's through CSSI.
Okay.
So,
Good
again,
price.
a motion to approve PCCO number 2 in the amount of $1,921.23.
I'll still make the motion.
All right, Mrs. Rahm.
So-
Any discussion?
Yes, also me. So how many trees are left? It's not a big, there's not a lot of space there, but my question is, how many trees are left? And will there be any shade available for that teeny tiny little playground that we have for the preschoolers? It didn't really have a lot of shade anyways, but like, is there anything we can do about that at some point?
Anybody want to answer that, or?
I'll speak to it. So on the corner that the playground is, there's actually going to be a playground structure that we've already purchased that's going to go in the very corner.
Okay,
There's a birch tree in the way of that. So that's one of the trees that's coming down. Then on the opposite side of the school, so on the Charles Street side, the western side, there are a couple of large, I don't think they're birch, there's some other species, but they're going to be, at least one of them is going to be in the way of the egress tower that we're building.
okay. I figured that those were the trees you were talking about. I didn't realize you were going to take down the nice birch.
Yes.
So,
It was a shame to take down the birch, but it's just simply in the way of the playground structure. We can put new trees in, but it's going to take many years for them to shade.
right.
They get a lot of shade from that huge building across the street.
Yes, I know. But, with all of the asphalt around, the heat, without trees to break up the asphalt, you just end up with like a heat sink there, and I feel bad for the kids there.
There's not a lot of asphalt or anything on site,
Right, the site has
but it's the streets, which,
yeah.
and, but it will be a landscape to look nice.
I'm voting for it. I trust you, but I don't like it.
Can they do some shrubberies?
Okay.
Jimmy got my reference.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Yes, it was.
To scratch.
Twice, actually.
That's twice.
Yeah. Okay.
Doubly approved.
That's right. So now we're on potential change order number 3, which is for Architect Supplemental Instructions number 1, or ASI number 1, issued by Harriman. And what this was a drawing that put down some flooring patterns and colors that changed from the original scope. And the benefit of this is creating a pattern on the floor that shows you're out of sight from the
Security.
doorway for security. Right, so it does make more waste when you're using 2 different colors, and the patterns are very triangular and not the same in every room. So that's why there's extra material involved with creating those zones, the out-of-sight zones. I'll make that motion. I think it's critical, especially in the preschool age.
Yes.
So Mrs. Raymond made the motion to approve PCO number 3 in the amount of $4,322.78. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Thank you. Potential change order number 4 is next. This is a no-charge change order where we are spending construction manager contingency funds to cover a $3,350 change to floor tread material in the stairs to make it match the floor that's being carried in the corridors. And the reason for this is the floor that's being carried in the corridors was significantly cheaper. So when we did the recommendation in the buyout, we took that option, not realizing we also needed to take the option with the stair treads, and they were actually $3,350 more money. So we should have factored it off in the buyout, and we didn't. So we're taking that out of contingency. It's owed to the contractor to make the change so that the materials match, but it's not changing the contract value or increasing the value at all. So it's a net $0, no change contingency.
So need a motion to approve PCO number 4 in no charge. Alderman Wilshire made the motion. Any discussion? Seeing none? Opposed? Nobody, okay.
It's really just documenting that we're taking it out of that bucket of money.
Right.
so you see where it's coming from, and you're okay with it. All right, PCO number 5.
Oh, did we vote on that one?
Oh, sorry.
What?
We didn't.
We need to vote.
Oh, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Yeah, figured
I'm
no
being a good
charge.
clerk today. Let's vote on that.
All right.
Potential change order number 5 is for the abatement removal plan and monitoring, which is done by a third-party consultant. So this sometimes gets purchased directly by the school district, but sometimes it's by the contractor. In this case, we did not include it in our original proposal, so we're adding the scope to our contract. The ESSER fund contractor that's working on site has structured their setup the same, so we're replicating it that way. So basically, we went out to the Scott Lawson Group consultant, who is also doing work for that other contractor, same similar type work, got an abatement removal plan for our second floor work this summer, and they will also do the air clearance, the monitoring and air clearances when the work is complete. So it ties out nicely because they're already there with the other contractor as well.
So there is an amount of $3,041.96. Who signed it?
That's Sean's signature.
Oh,
Thank you for bringing that up. So the reason we did this is because we're starting work, as I said, next week. I needed to get them on board and have them do a plan. They were very responsive. Sean signed it. They were very responsive, have come out and given us a plan. So we're good to go for beginning the work next week.
so for timing and not costing us more money, PCO number 005 was approved by Mr. Smith and signed, but to just take care of the paperwork, it's for $3,041.96. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make it.
Mrs. Raymond made the motion.
We have to abate for the asbestos. There's
Yeah.
kids
So,
there.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
All right, next on the list for Franklin Street is the prime contract change order that incorporates the approved PCOs from last month, so similar to the other schools. Last month, we did approve the addition of the ADA ramp in the front of the building. So this prime contract change order 1 incorporates that PCO to add the ramp.
Okay, so again, the PCCO number 1, need a motion to approve in the amount of $97,670 for previously approved PCOs.
So moved.
Mr. Gilio made the motion. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, the last thing on the list for Franklin Street is to present the final 4 bid recommendations for painting. That's the first one. Painting is Noonan Brothers. The cover letter, I did have a draft typo confirming block. I did confirm they own that scope. But we bid out the painting scope of work, new walls and soffits, painting door frames and trim, handrails, things of that nature. We did have solicited bids from four vendors. We got 2 prices, and we are recommending awarding the package to Noonan Brothers. They are the low bidder in the amount of $89,900.
So I'll need a motion to approve the painting contract to Noonan Brothers Painting of Manchester, New Hampshire, in the amount of $89,900 for Franklin Street.
I'll make that motion.
Alderman Wiltshire made the motion. Discussion? Mrs. Raymond?
It doesn't say what color. I'm just curious. Painting, right?
Yeah, I think.
But just
the-
like a beigey
No,
cream?
the interiors, the existing school, well, there's already colors that were selected in the school.
Right.
I think the walls were almost like a silvery color, and the door frames on each level had a different color for each floor. So we're just matching what's there, what's already been selected, and already started in the process. So any work that's new will match what's existing.
Okay.
I think the paint colors are mentioned in Noonan Brothers painting contract.
Is it? I just didn't see it. All right, thank you.
Latex eggshell.
Okay,
Eggshell.
Yeah.
I thought eggshell was the type of finish.
Yeah, it is.
it is.
Yeah.
I hire
I
people
believe
to
you
do
can
this.
like
I
wipe
don't
down
do
with a
this.
sponge, which is the advantage of eggshell.
Okay, so you'd made the motion to approve. Discussion over, okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Our next letter of recommendation package is for the scope we call specialties, which is a lot of loose ends, I guess I would say. Toilet partitions, corner guards, toilet accessories, fire extinguisher cabinets, and curtain cubicle track, in this case, in the nurse's office. So there are several items specified in Division 10 that our contractors have carried. We did solicit 4 bids for this as well, but only received 1 bid from Newton Building Specialties. We do use them on other projects. I've got them going in another job as well, so I don't have any concern with them. I do recommend the specialties contract be awarded in the amount of $55,281.
So I'll need a motion to approve the Newton Specialties scope work to Newton Building Specialties of Westboro, Mass. In the amount of $55,281 for Franklin Street.
So moved.
Mr. Gilio made the motion. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Just a side note on the quantity of bidders, because of the timing and the speed where we were doing the job, we didn't always get a lot of coverage on the bidders. Being a summer slam, they were already booked for work, didn't always take the opportunity to give us a number. So this one's been a kind of a quick hit, and we do see the result of it as we go through the bidding process. Our next one is for the quiet room wall pads. So these pads go inside the room and on the door of the quiet room on the 3rd floor. We received 2 bids for this work. We are recommending A-plus athletic products in the amount of $6,200 for the wall pads. They were the lowest bidder.
So I'll need a motion to approve the wall pads scope of work to A-plus Athletic Products, Inc. of Rollingsford, New Hampshire, in the amount of $6,200.
I'll make the motion.
Ms. Raymond made the motion. Any discussion?
I just have a question, well, for really anybody, but probably Mr. Smith. What were they using for the quiet room before, or did they not have one? And do we have any concerns about the product and its durability for, I mean, we're talking about sometimes teenagers who, maybe need a more durable product than our elementary school kids.
No, I don't have any concerns with it. I think Jamie's also discussed the product with the principal on the 3rd floor, so I think we're in good shape. Time is the true test.
Okay.
And I don't believe they had a quiet room before. This one is a new room. They may have had one or used something, but the one we're creating is all new.
Okay.
All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Yes, the last one. All right, last one is for shades, which are on the windows and the doors, manual roller shades for those doors and borrowed lights. We did go out to 3 bidders. We received 2 numbers. We're recommending the low bidder, recommending the shade scope be awarded to DWC Designs of Hudson, New Hampshire, in the amount of $2,780.
I'll need a motion to approve the window shades for Franklin Street to DWC Designs, Inc. of Hudson, New Hampshire, in the amount of $2,780.
So moved.
Gilio made the motion. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Thank you, Ken.
Thank you.
All right. We have the signed book. All right, now we can pay some people. Mr. Smith.
Actually, we have the Life proposal presentation.
Oh,
So maybe you guys could come up, take a seat, the circle.
Have some handouts for us.
Ooh.
Unfortunately, I can't plug into the projector,
So,
Okay,
so I have 6. Who would like one?
we will share.
Okay. And it was in your packet, I believe, for the.
I just
that
need
was
one
sent
for the
to
record, you
everyone.
have to give them.
He smelled good. Okay.
Oh, that's the other thing I need Sean for.
Big holiday solution, okay.
Chris, sure. Give
Yeah, sure.
that extra one.
I have one extra.
As they're getting settled, I'll do a little bit of introduction. So, as you know, through the pandemic, we've instituted various measures in our schools. MERV 13 filters, masks, face shields, desk shields, gloves. My warehouse manager has become an expert in COVID prevention measures. Along the way, particularly about 6 months into all that, we became inundated by various manufacturers that had the latest and greatest way to purify the air. And it was hard to sort through all that stuff. And so I had to read all that literature. There's a fair amount of it in, like ASHRAE, who's a national organization that gives us standards. And came upon this particular company that has a product that I did buy a good number of units that we put in classrooms that I came upon first. There was kind of a single stage purification system, and basically had a filter in it, charcoal filter, I believe. And then this company came along, and they have a unit it's a portable unit, you plug it in, and it has really 5 stages of filtration. They'll talk about this a little bit more. But I said, gee, this is better than anything I've seen. It combines all sorts of different measures to cleanse the air. They had all sorts of literature on it. I read it. Some of the stuff I looked at, I wanted to see more information on it. So we actually, I don't want to steal too much of their thunder. We did some, we did some tests. So we did some testing. It was the last summer at a couple of our schools, and they'll talk about that they backed it up. So you think of bugs in the air, that whether it's a virus or a bacteria, we did the tests and they eliminated. I'm not going to steal the thunder. They took a bunch of that stuff out of the air, and they did a presentation to the Finance and Operations Committee, I want to say 3 months ago. And at that point, we were still wrestling as a district what to do with ESSER funding. We actually discussed it this past week at Finance and Operations. At this point of the game, pretty much all the ESSER funding is spoken for. And what was left over, we felt pretty strongly we had to put towards 2 of our elementary schools. And those are coming attractions, by the way, which you'll hear about on Monday night at the Board of Education meeting. It's not to say that there may not be some ESSER funding that may fall out of this whole process, but in the meantime, I feel strongly that their product is something we should really consider. It'll keep our schools cleaner. It'll keep the bugs, the viruses, and bacteria out. And the biggest thing, I think, the one thing that we really, as a district, have struggled with, particularly over the last couple of years, but I've seen it for a long time, is absenteeism. There's absenteeism of students, of staff, of the kitchen help, everybody. So if we can do this one good thing and keep our schools in cleaner, then I think it's a good thing. They'll talk about the cost. They're actually going to give us a proposal. I asked them to come to this committee because I didn't see us being able to move through the Board of Ed at this point, because we have, it's not a criticism at all. It's just, I mean, there's a lot of demands on our resources, right? And we don't have enough resources to put towards everything. So I thought that at least the middle school project, we have enough leeway in our finances that we could potentially do something. There may be some leeway also on our district finances, which Mr. Donovan will talk to you about Monday night as well. Mrs. Raymond was at the finance meeting, so she can talk to you on the side about it. But so there may be a way we can get some of these units in some places. But this is so I talked about portable units. I'm talking too much. This is an in-duct system. So in the schools, particularly like a high school, everything is through ductwork, right? We have air handlers, central units that push the air towards us. We install these units in the ductwork. They filter out the stuff, the bad stuff, and cleanse the air. And it works 24/7. As long as the system's working, these things are working. Not like ultraviolet. You know, some people talk about putting ultraviolet light someplace, and that works while the ultraviolet light's there, but you turn it off, it stops. Somebody sneezes after you turn off the ultraviolet light, you're toast again. This stuff's working constantly, so I think it's good. I really highly recommend it. I've done a lot of research on it, and if we can possibly afford it, then I think we should do so. I just gave you a presentation for you. I'm sorry.
We'll skip to page 9.
Go right to the end, yeah. This is Carolyn and Christopher and
Nice to meet everyone. Thank you for having us. This is probably the largest group that we've sat in front of. We've been in front of the finance committee or board, goodness, 2 or 3 times, and it was 2 or 3 people. And I'm like, goodness, this is a large crowd. No pressure. Good job, Sean. So we started this journey about 1.5 years, probably 1 year and 2 months ago with Sean. And it's actually been amazing, because we learned a lot from Sean, and we've also been able to help the district. So first off, thank you, for over the last 1.5 years for sharing knowledge with us. So if we go to page 3, ultimately through this proposal, our goal, mission, is to provide 24/7 air and surface protection with active pure technology within the district here in Nashua. In this proposal, we've identified 4 elementary schools that Sean, I believe, would like to start with. And that's what we've identified.
middle schools.
Middle schools, excuse me.
And
Middle
one
schools.
alternate school.
Middle school, sorry. Second, we'd like to provide, maintain in-person learning and reduce absenteeism. Sean alluded to that. We had shared in one of our last committee meetings, we had helped a district in Texas. It was a private school system, and they saw a 54% reduction in absenteeism, in a year period of time. So I think it would be huge for maintaining the in-person learning here in the district and reducing absenteeism overall, creating a healthier building and learning environments for our students, teachers, and faculty. Provide impactful ROIs, reduce energy costs, and reduce filter costs. So with our air quality testing that we did here in the district, we actually reduced your MERV systems, your MERV filters are in your HVAC systems, and we were running a MERV 13 here, and we reduced those filters down from a MERV 13 down to a MERV 8, which is absolutely huge. I think, Sean, correct me if I'm wrong, or I think you're changing your filters quarterly, is that correct? So quarterly, we're changing these filters out now to go from a MERV 8 to a MERV 13, which the district is running right now. There's a big cost to that. Typically what we see across the board through districts across the country is anywhere from 20 to 40% cost increase on those filters. And if you times that over the course of, a whole year, and we're able to reduce that down, just the savings alone in that is a huge ROI, even just that first year. So reduce energy costs, reduce the filter costs, big ROIs. Ultimately, it's peace of mind for students, parents, teachers, and staff. So all along the process, when we partner with you, we help with public relations support. We've actually designed a portal for Nashua, which I can't pull it up right here, but we designed a portal to educate the community, to educate the teachers, to educate students if they want to know on what the district has invested, into the district, which I think is really, really important. I'm a parent myself, and my children go to Alvern, but, I think from a standpoint of helping you convey that message and pass that peace of mind on is huge, especially coming out of what we've all been through in the last 2 years. White glove account management and solutions installation. So we project manage the whole project. We've worked now with Sean for over 1.5 years, even throughout this project, whether it's another year, 2 years, we're with him the whole way. It's really that white glove approach, whether it's from the installation aspect, whether it's from helping the community understand what we've purchased here at the school. It's really that white glove approach. And we're right in Tingsboro, Massachusetts, by the way. We've been in business for a little over 30 years at Sonolife. We also do water as well. And it's to be able to do and help out the community is great. So we're right down the street. And then also, as we get deeper into the proposal, we also extended service coverage for the whole project. So we included 6 years of maintenance for the whole Active Pure solution for the district, to help absorb that cost and not have to be able to have you guys pick up the cost of not only installing everything but also maintaining it for the next 6 years. So we'll see that in here as well. On page 4, we work with leaders in education all across the country. We're in a little over 156, 157 districts across the country. But this is a snapshot of some of the leaders that we've worked with in the education space. We'll see some universities in here as well. On page 5, so not only do we help out education space, but we help out businesses and organizations across the spectrum. So United States Navy, Commonwealth of Massachusetts, we did the whole court system in the state of Massachusetts. The MLB, we're in about 26, 27 MLB clubs out of 31. We're in their dugouts, or excuse me, in their health spaces, in their locker rooms, so on and so forth. So that's a quick snapshot of some other organizations. So to get into meat and potatoes of protecting people, in this case, protecting students, faculty, and staff with Active Pure technology. So Active Pure technology has been proven effective against a broad spectrum of viruses, pathogens, bacteria, fungi, and mold. And we've been proven to reduce 99.9% of that. So down below is the hierarchy of pathogens. And this shows the resistance level of spores all the way down to envelope viruses. So, if we look at what's in our environments, envelope virus is a virus. It could be what we all just came out of, which is COVID. That's an envelope virus. And that's on the hierarchy of pathogens. It has the lowest resistance level, so it's easier to eliminate. Mold, spores, fungi, bacteria on the higher level. And we're proven effective to reduce spores by 99.9%. So Sean had mentioned that's all lab testing. So when we first met with Sean, Sean's like, yeah, great, that's all lab testing. It looks great, but I want you to prove it. And so, a year ago, we've done testing, as I mentioned. Sean really kind of pioneered that and pushed us into standing out from our competitors. What can we do to show you, not just say it, but give you your data, which is powerful. So if you look at page 7, this is the test that we performed in the Nashua School District. So the initial testing, pre-test, we actually chose Nashua High School and Ledge Street Elementary. So there's one classroom in the Nashua High School, Nashua South, that has the induct unit. You want to go to that room. That teacher, that's pretty cool. She has that in there, or he. So this shows you. So we go in, we do an air sample. We can't release a virus into the environment, right? So we're not going to come in here and dump a virus in. That would be horrible. But we also want to make sure we have a classroom of people. Where does that threat come from? If we have a healthy environment and we don't have any other factors, in this room like mold or whatever it may be, environmental factors, the threat really truly comes from us, people. students, faculty coming into a room. So all of these tests, pre or post, did have student activity in the room. It was summer classes. So we go in, we leave we left the MERV 13 in place, and any other additional technology you would have in place, when we arrived. We tested that air in both the elementary school and the high school. And then we actually got to climb up on the roofs and help remove your MERV 13 filters after we did this pre-test. And we, at our cost, put in MERV 8s to the systems that we were going to be treating so we could test that, right, the efficacy. So about 2 weeks later, we came back, and after we installed, Active Pure technology and dropped your filter ratings down to MERV 8, we did our post-test. So down below, you'll see how we were able to impact the viral load in both the high school room and the classroom in the Ledge Street Elementary School. So you'll see anywhere from 73 to 84% reduction in viral loads, in both of those classrooms. And it's absolutely huge. So remember, you can't put the virus in, but we were able to have that impact on bacteria and fungi. And so the solution that Sean had alluded to, we did put portables in a couple locations throughout the district. We did our Beyond Guardian unit, and we're proposing a whole building induct air purification. So as Sean had mentioned, this is something that gets installed into your HVAC system. This is a highlight of that. I will not go through all of this if I could talk to stripes off a zebra, but we won't go through that. So on page 9 is our Active Pure proposal. So this is a proposal to implement Active Pure technology throughout Nashua School District for the 3 middle schools and 1 elementary school. And it's obviously the new middle school is here. We haven't named it yet. Was that today? No. No, I thought I saw something on my post. Okay. Sorry.
We're getting there.
Yeah, I think it's cool. So Fairgrounds Middle School, the price of the proposal, remember I had mentioned that we were going to include the 6 years of maintenance, right? So the school district doesn't have to absorb that. It's all absorbed into the price per square foot. So with the help of Sean, Fairgrounds Middle School, 118,800 square feet at $1.25 per square foot. Subtotal for Fairgrounds Middle School is 148,500. Penchuck Middle School, 136,806 square feet, 171,007. Franklin Street, so on and so forth, to a grand total of 644,507. And again, proposal includes the 6-year supply, replacement cells, and filters, as a service package for the district. I kind of just went fast through everything, so does anybody have any questions? Yes, sir.
Yeah, being responsible for the budget, I have a question. Can this be installed at any time?
Yeah, absolutely. We, actually, I guess, tell me what you're thinking.
Well, to bring it into this project, we're going to have to probably wait till we see how much money we have a little downstream. The new middle school we're talking about is just got foundations and going in. It is a big school. This sounds very good, and the one question I have is, and COVID aside, because I
Yes.
assume it takes care of COVID, but normal cold, flu, and all of that?
Yeah, absolutely. So,
Because to me, from the Board of Education side, that would be huge for a reduction in teachers being out, paras being out, staff being out, and of course, students. And if somebody comes in ill, it's going to not spread it. So I think that's a very positive thing. Now, you said this is for 6 years. One of the things we'll have to look at is what is the cost beyond the 6 years? Because that's probably going to have to be absorbed by those people over there.
right. I think we had discussed that.
Although I'm not sure in 6 years whether you'll be there, but it'll be the Board of Ed. it'll be in the Board of Ed's budget, so do you have, I know
Yeah.
6 years is a long time out in space, but do you have a,
Estimate-wise,
Yeah.
I would say, good estimate for target is 13 to 17 cents per square foot. No, every 2 years.
13 to 17 every 2 years.
13 cents to 17 cents per square foot every 2 years.
with the same maintenance and everything involved that you did in the first 6 years?
Yep.
Okay. It's not bad. Any questions from anybody?
Is it possible in that regard for the maintenance, so that every 2 years, just to hire you guys to do that?
Absolutely.
Be a service contract.
In that.
Many of our
square
other
footage.
service contracts, we just hire to come in and do the filter change or whatever, the light change.
Yeah, we can hash that out. If we put it inside of the proposal, make the adjustment in there, we can do that too.
Well, I guess we're thinking more of the end of
For the future?
6 years.
Yeah, yes, 100%.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
So we're looking at doing the middle schools, but one of the, I mean, if we're going to talk about attendance, kind of the larger attendance issues that we had were at the high school, and having to corral the students together when teachers were out. Is there a reason that we didn't look at doing the high schools first?
I think Sean was looking at, we have a bonded project for middle schools right now that has money. Unless the Board of Education has the money to do the high schools.
Oh, this is pocket change for me.
By the way, your budget passed last night, the Budget Committee unscathed.
Oh, it did. That's fantastic news. Thank you.
There goes the
We're
full board.
flush with cash. No, just kidding. Okay, well, thank you. Yeah, I think I'd like to see this get into our more attendance issue areas, but I like it.
Yeah, and to-
If I could, so we did go to the Finance Committee and we went for the whole enchilada,
Yeah,
which in retrospect maybe was a little bit of a mistake because it's a big nut. So you take $1.25 and you multiply 2 million. That's how many square feet we have. That's a lot of money. And we just didn't have it. So the couple things can happen. One is some of that year-end money that Mr. Donovan may be proposing on Monday night. That's going to be, not going to be enough to do all that. It may be enough to do some of the schools. And he's still looking at different options with that money. There's a lot of demands on that money, obviously. The chairman of the Finance Committee had also asked, is there a lease option? So, I've asked them to start looking at that. I think you've already started to prepare for it. To come back to a future Finance and Operations Committee with a proposal to do a leasing options where we could do all the schools at once.
So when we get downstream, we'll see whether we have money to do all 4 middle school or 3 middle schools and Franklin Street, or a school as a test case. I mean, if it, and then at some point, if it sounds like it's going to prove to be exceptionally beneficial, if you wanted to do the whole school system, we'd probably have to look at a bond.
yeah.
Separate project. So,
Is there a possibility of doing the individual spaces in the other schools, like cafeteria, auditorium, like the larger places where kids congregate? I think in the classrooms, I mean, depending on whatever classroom there is, there's more space, but when they're all sitting around, milling around being hooligans, is there a
answer
way
is yes.
to individualize?
yeah, fully
Yeah,
customizable.
yes, I mean, if you have an air handler or air handler serving an air cafeteria, this thing goes in the ductwork, so you can do it that way. Or else have very many portable units ringing the
Yeah.
space.
Right.
the other question I have is for Harvey and Harriman, to incorporate this in our duct system. See any issues?
I was just we were looking online, I was curious if this was Based on the square footage that these things cover, it sounds like there's multiple units. Not a single unit in an air distribution stream on a main air handler. So you're putting these units in line downstream throughout the school.
Correct. And every, from a formula standpoint, depending on the space, right, we would base it off of square foot, cubic square feet or cubic feet, and then population density as well. So, depending on what that space is used for, how many people are going to be in it. But
So
yes,
these are put on the supply or return side?
return side.
Return side, yeah, okay.
So do you also cover the, what it would take from an infrastructure standpoint to support the weight?
Yeah. Oh, if from a phased approach? Yeah.
I'm just thinking installing something in a duct system, those don't hold a lot of weight, so you'd have to have some kind of a.
I wish I had a picture. If I had access to that. Actually, matter of fact, you can see it.
There's actually one in there, the second to last page, I think
Yep.
it is.
So here's a shot of, matter of fact, too, if you go into ledge, you can actually, they have exposed vent work in there, and you can actually go to that classroom and see it. There's actually two in that. That's supplying, 1, 2, 3, I think 10 classrooms, and you'll see it. So there's 2 units in that duct.
Okay.
Yep. So yeah, as far as weight-wise, no, it won't affect. And as far as a power draw too, it's very, very minimal. The spec sheet is in the back here. It also shows you the weight as well.
So as far as right now is concerned, we're in a position where a lot of our costs have gone crazy because of COVID, supply chain issues, and everything else, fuel, whatever. So we can't commit to those costs right now. But once we get a handle on, we'll have finished up Fairgrounds by the end of before the school year. We'll have money left over from that. Penachuk's going pretty well, but we're gonna need to, at some point, we probably are going to need to cover our contingency accounts with some more bond money because steel doubled in price. I don't know if we want to say what we earn today, Ken.
Talking about
Yeah.
gas or electric or some other cost.
Glass.
Glass now.
Glass went up 40%.
Of course it did.
I mean, you can do without windows, but
Just use cement blocks.
actually anything associated with glass, and it's, it's just crazy. And so we'll have to see where we're at financially, and, I mean, I think even the Board of Aldermen would say, to improve the health of our students and staff, this is something we ought to look at anyway. So, it'd be a question of, do we test it out, see how it works, and if we have increased health in the school, and at some point, I think if it works as advertised, I don't know what the cost would be for the entire district, but you definitely have to bond that, because I know you don't have that in pocket change in the school budget. Being facetious. So, Sean, what do we want to?
I'm just doing some quick multiplication here.
Uh-oh. Enough zeros on your calculator?
If
So
you turn it on its side, you can get a better calculator.
just, again, 2 million square feet. We have a little bit more than that now, but 2 million square feet. $1.25, that comes to $2.5 million.
Not as bad as I thought. But if we did all the schools, what's the price break?
We started off with all the schools, so we did the price break right out of the gate. So we're honoring, we honored that, and then I would say when we came to,
They
Goodness.
were in the 130s at one point
yeah, with no maintenance.
with no maintenance.
Yeah.
And I think the 6-year maintenance is big.
So I would say let us think about this and,
Yeah.
and talk about it and see what the best approach is. You know, when we go in for the additional money for the cover of the stuff, but it's a middle school project, so we can't do that. But if we had money left over, we could transfer it, but we'll talk about it, and it's certainly, at least from my standpoint, I mean, you know, I have a grandchild in the school system. Keeping her healthy would be great. And there's a whole bunch of kids on that side. So, you know, I mean, you see the colds and sniffles and, you know, and it's another thing. People don't like wearing masks. And there are some people on the Board of Ed pretty adamant against masks.
And we have a city charter that says our responsibility is the public health and safety of our children.
And this goes a long way.
So,
In the back of the proposal, I wish I would have brought the extra couple that we gave out at the Finance Committee, but it was our recent projects that we had done, success stories. And it was that school districts sharing what their experience has been like, you know, pre and post,
Yeah, that'd be
which is
very
really powerful. So I can share that
helpful.
with everyone, because it does, it's helped, we've helped a lot of districts, and we have the efficacy and the proof behind it, which is usually rare. You can't do that.
Any other questions for them? Well, we will be getting back to you,
Awesome.
all right?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
We appreciate your time.
Thank you, everyone.
So Sean, you ready to pay some bills?
I am.
Does anyone want an extra, that didn't get one? Would you like one? Yeah. And then what we can do is, we can either print more too, if anybody needs any additional resources, I'd be happy. Yes. We can get that over to you.
Thank you.
The health benefits for this alone is huge.
Yep.
All the way across the board.
Sean, do you want to go through the individual, or do you want me to just,
Whatever your preference is, I'd be happy to zip through them.
I think everybody sees what they are on their agendas from the individual, but I'd like a motion to pay the following invoices. For Harvey Construction, $3,584,217.77. Harriman A&E, $60,086.17. Hayner Swanson, $1,197.47. Vanessa and Associates, $293.40. Turner Building Science, $492.91. For a grand total of $3,646,287.72. Would somebody like to make that motion?
I have a question.
That's not what I have
On the agenda. So on Harvey's, what was your number?
On Harvey's, I have $3,584,217.77. Was this wrong then?
I have $9,000 more than that.
All right, why is this not right?
This is what, this was what I
Okay.
tried to solve the other day.
I feel like Mr. Dubois would rather have the $9,000 than not have the $9,000. Okay, so on our,
All right, let me revise that. We'll read it from the agenda, because
Hey, thanks. I already wrote it down.
Huh?
So I already wrote it down, based on the agenda.
Okay,
all right, good.
so the grand total I have is $3,655,703.01.
That's right.
Yes.
I'll make that motion.
And Alderman Wilshire made the motion. Any discussion on the invoices? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. The invoices are paid. Any comments by committee members? We don't need a non-public. The next upcoming meeting is July 21st, 7 PM, right here. And do I have, No.
the 3rd instead of the 4th.
Yeah, we moved it, didn't we, Sean?
Let me look at that.
August, is that what you just said?
July 21st?
Yes.
Okay.
July 21st instead of July 28th.
Okay.
Did we move that? I haven't.
I thought we did.
It says so on the agenda, and that's what I,
Should be the 4th of the month. Should be the 28th.
See, well, we'll check it out, and we'll let everybody know.
wait. No, you moved it a week early for a reason. I just don't remember what the
Yeah, I
reason
don't
was.
remember what the reason is either.
Moved up, I know.
But it's on the Board of Ed calendar that way, too.
Is it?
Yeah.
Carl going on vacation again?
Wow.
I'm going on vacation, and I specifically chose not the 21st when I was booking things today, so.
So it's probably going to be the 21st, and I think that's what infrastructure, joint infrastructure DPW also selected. So, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion is to adjourn. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We're adjourned at 9 o'clock.